How the devil are we? Oh, I thought I'd just drop on for a little quick chin wag because loads of new subscribers. Usually, I do a little live chat on a Sunday, but this Sunday, I'm taking my wife out for a nice meal and we're going to spend a nice bit of time together. And there won't be much time for me to be jumping on here at 8 o'clock. So I thought, I've just finished doing everything I need to do. I'll just pop on now and say hello to you guys. See how's you all doing. Liam, Ashley, hi Kirk. How you doing, Liam? You okay, mate? Oh, DB, DBT, Jambo, evening, Kirk, Tim Bell, Alif Khan. How we all doing, gents? We all right? Oh, so I was just saying then, boys, I've, this Sunday, I'm going to be taking the missus out, and I probably won't have much time to jump on a live. And I know it's been a bit sporadic lately with, live calls and what have you. I've been a bit hit and miss. So I thought, well, I've got what, half an hour now. I'll just come and say hello, see how you're all getting on, how everyone's doing. What's this here now? Okay, got it. Sean MUFC, sup? Omar, how you doing, Kurt? Hope you well, man. Michael Dix, evening, pal. I've got a bit of a flow. Dixie, don't worry, mate. Your trowel is going to be on its way to you. I just haven't bought a new one just yet, but as soon as I get a new one and break it in, mate, that'll be on its way to you anyway. So, be loyal. Hey, Kirk. Not seen you for a bit. Nice to see you, pal. Spot on, mate. I'm just jumping on. I'm going to do a quick half hour. Do you know what? I'll be honest with you. I was just sat in here now, and I was editing it, or I was going to start editing a video, and I just thought, you know what? I'm flipping knackered. I can't be bothered. So just come on and have a little chat to you guys instead. John Corcoran, oh boss, Steve Tennant. What is this? How you doing, Steve? Alif Khan, your videos are very entertaining. Keep it up. Right, I'm just going to try and keep up some of these comments. Sean Kelly, now then, Kirk, hope you well. Cheers, mate. Do you know what? I'll be honest with you, gents. I'm not too well. I've been working outside doing a lot of rendering, and I feel like I've got the flu. So, yeah, not great. But anyway, we're not whinging. We're a soldier, haven't we? We don't ultimately get paid that much when you're self-employed for taking time off sick. My sick pay basically is 0. So, just got to crack on, haven't you? Andy B. Hello, Kirk. Seen your work on YouTube, then realised you actually done some work at my work in Capenhurst in early 2020. You were working for Matt. Oh, that's it. Yeah, Andy B. That was what was the name of that place? EA Technology. EA Technology. What was the name of the painter? That old painter. He was ace. Him. I haven't seen him since. He was a flipping great old fellow. Him. I used to go off and have my dinner, just me and him. He was spot on, that painter, Andy. D-Loy, I'm sure you've been busy this time of year. It's understandable. Yeah, to be honest with you, it's a bit hectic at the minute. I'm getting like phone calls left, right, and centre. And what's a bit stressful is, like, I'm flat out of work, and then people want stuff done before Christmas. So you get people phoning you up that know you, and you say, "I'm rammed. I'm dead busy." And what I think happens is they don't believe you. They just think, he wouldn't do our job for us. And it's like, I want to do it. I'm just working 7 days a week. I haven't got no more time. Anyway. Alex Evans, Kirk, are you close to Cheshire Oaks? Yes, I'm about a stone's throw from Cheshire Oaks, mate. Literally, I could do a hop, skip, and a jump and land in McDonald's on Cheshire Oaks. Ernesto Gonzalez, upload more render videos, mate. They're the best. Yeah. Okay, mate. Do you know what? I've just been on a rendering job now. And we're doing, what is it, 47 meters of garden walls. This fella's basically built like a big containing wall right round the front of his house. And Do you know what? I was going to film it, but we've just been trying to get in and get it done as fast as we can. So when I'm trying to work super quick, I haven't got time to tell young Nathan to film this because he's just literally just mix as fast as he can mix it. I'm pushing it up the wall. So yeah, we haven't had much time to film this, to be fair. But we have been rained off sort of today. We were gonna work late tonight and get the next load on ready for a scrape tomorrow morning. But it didn't happen. Didn't happen because we were held up today with the rain and the walls were soaking. So I don't want to start putting render onto wet base coat because it's just a nightmare. Starts sliding and all sorts. So um, Stephen Loy, thanks for all the videos. Hope you feel better. Cheers, Steve. Thanks, mate. Um, Kieran Bailey. All right, Kirk, any videos on heritage plastering, lime plastering, etc.? Love to learn about that work. Do you know what, mate? Kieran, my channel is only just over, a little over a year old. And at this point, I just literally haven't had any lime jobs in, apart from one, which is sort of lined up if they're still waiting for me. My mates Stephen and Cheryl, they want some lime plastering doing around a log burner. So I just haven't had a chance to get to them yet. But as soon as I do that, um, we're gonna film that hopefully. Because lime is apparently the best product to put around log burners because it doesn't shell off with the heat, whereas gypsum plaster sort of breaks off and bursts and cracks under high temperature. Lime doesn't, so that's going to be a little lime job. Only a little job, but all the same, it's not very often I get asked to do lime plaster. So, Liam Ashley, I've got the flu too, mate. Must be doing its round in Cheshire. Yeah, to be fair. And you know what, mate? My missus and her daughters in there, no sympathy. Oh, he's got man flu. Doesn't matter what's wrong with me. I could walk in with my arm hanging off. Oh, he's got man flu. It doesn't. I'm like, oh, whatever. Uh, that was it, Andy. Yeah, his name was Ken. Ken. Yeah, that was it, mate. I haven't seen Matt recently, mate. No, he phoned me a while back. So just to fill these guys in that are watching as well, I did a job at this place in Capenhurst. Now, Ellesmere Port's quite an important place in terms of logistics for the country. So I'm not trying to big ourselves up here, but we've got a big oil refinery, and we've got Vauxhall Motors. We do a lot of car plant stuff. There's ICI. We make all the fertilizer here. All your beer comes from NSERC. We've got that here, and there's a place up in Capenhurst where they enrich uranium. So all your nuclear power stations and submarines and all that sort of stuff. I think that's what they do in there. I know it's nuclear stuff, but right next door to this nuclear place is a place called EA Technologies. And if I'm right, Andy, I'm not 100% sure. I'm sure I got the gist of it. They sort of design national grids. So anything to do with electricity can get into people's homes. Not so much like electricity providers, but sort of setting out where pylons are going to go and that sort. I think that's what they're involved in. And we did a refurb there on the top floor for them. And there was an old fella there, painter, Ken, absolutely fantastic bloke. That's what I was asking about. But the fella I was working for, the lad that had the job, was a guy called Matty. And he wasn't really a builder. I don't even know how he got the job, but he's a gardener. But he was running a flipping building job for this multi-billion-pound company. How that happened, I don't know. But anyway, to answer Andy's question, now I haven't seen him. I spoke to him about 6 months ago, and he was having some trouble with someone not paying him for some plants or something. He was saying so. Anyway, I digress. Um, uh, Gamer Harvey 24. Hi Kirk, what do you think of the Refiner X skim? Have you used them? Thanks. No, I don't know what the X skim is, mate. I should keep up to date with all this stuff, but I haven't used it, mate. No, sorry. Um, Tormund Wolf Spain. When's your works Christmas due, Kirk? This is it, mate. This is it with you boys. I've literally just come out here to edit a video. I thought, stuff it. I can't be bothered. I can't be bothered editing videos because I feel a bit groggy, a bit bunged up, and a bit like, ugh. You know, when you got a bit of a flu and you just your mind just can't think clearly. I thought, oh, just be easier not to do it today. Nick Campbell plans for Xmas Day. Xmas Day, mate, is it's all planned out, mate, for me. I just go with the flow. My missus, for the last I've been with my missus since I was 18. We've been together for I've been with my missus longer than I've been alive. Do you know what I mean? I've been with her longer than I've been without her. And every single year, without fail, we go to her parents' house for Christmas dinner. And I think there's about 27 of us now because my missus is one of five. And all of her brothers and sisters. I mean, we've got four kids, and all the other ones have all got like three and four kids. So it's just like a massive gathering at her parents' house. So I'll just be going there. But I'll be honest with you guys, I'm a bit of a Grinch. I don't know if it's just a bloke thing or if it's just me. I don't really care about Christmas. I'm like not really that interested in it. I feel like it's too commercialized. I feel like it's a load of crap, basically. You know, the shops sort of tell me that I've got to spend money. I buy people gifts all year round. You know, if I like, I've bought my father-in-law flasks and stuff, just Stanley flasks out of the blue, just because I want him to have one. You know, and I think that means a lot more when you buy someone something just out of the blue rather than at Christmas because it's sort of like, there you go, there's your Christmas present. So I'm not really a big fan of Christmas, to be honest with you. Although I do like my Christmas dinner and I do like a few days off, but uh, David Clark recently found this channel and your knowledge is impressive. Good luck to you in the future. Cheers, David. Thank you, mate. Thank you very much. Scooby Doo, Big Mac or Whopper? No, I don't eat the stuff, mate. I can't be doing with it. Indian food, mate. That's my tipple. Bogdan, how you doing? Bogdan, you okay, mate? Just a big hello to you and your family. I hope you're all good, my friend. I am Bogdan. Just Bogdan's a friend of mine, and we've just plastered the whole downstairs of his house. Hope you're well, Bogdan. Ian Hudson. Now, Kirk, mate. I hope you're well. Thanks, Ian. Cheers for the beer, mate. You're a gentleman. Thank you very much. Um, Gamer Tommy. Hey, buddy. We've been working in Ellesmere Port on the Glisk site. I don't know where that is. What you doing, Gamer Tommy? What trade you in, mate? Gary Pete, love the videos, dude. Just asking, saw one of your videos, and you only put a thin layer of water on your hawk. Shouldn't you put a very thin layer of plaster on it too, mate? Um, yeah. So when you get a build up on your handboard, ultimately that build up of plaster when it dries out will have suction. So if you put wet plaster on a dry handboard, you know it'll dry it out a little bit. So you can just wet it down. Now, when you wet it, it'll leave a sheen of water on your handboard or your hawk for you southerners. It'll leave a sheen of water. So if you tilt it, it'll just slide off. So what a lot of fellows do is put a little blob of plaster on it and then smear that off as well, and then it's been dampened, so there's no suction and the stuff won't slide off. But if you, what I do is I wet it and then I can't be bothered messing around with the plastic, so I just scrape it off with my trowel so there's no sheen of water. So hope that makes sense to you, mate. Muhammad Ali, good evening, Kurt, mate. I hope you're well. Any funny stories in the pub? Oh, mate, what was the what was the thing my dad come out with the other day? He tried to get me again. My old fella tried to get me again with the mouse story, but he's already had me with that once. So but he did try. But anyway, for those of you that haven't heard this, my old fella phoned me up a while back, and he goes, "Son, got a mouse in my bungalow." Now, I've had a mouse in our house, and I said to him, Dad, listen, don't bother with the humane traps because they don't work. Don't bother with all this nonsense. I said, I know it sounds ruthless. I said, you just got to poison them, mate. Just put poison down. It's the only way to get rid of them fast because otherwise they're running all over your worktops. You know, they're peeing as they go. They're leaving flipping disease everywhere or whatever. I said, you've just got to poison it, Dad. And he goes, no, what I've done, son, he goes, I've put WD-40 all around the bottom of the doors and round all the pipes and all that sort of stuff. Any little gaps, I sprayed all WD-40. Now I'm invested in this conversation, so as I'm talking to my old fella, I'm like on Amazon Prime finding flipping poison for him as I'm talking. I said, WD-40. So what you on about, Dad? What's that? He said, well, it doesn't kill them, but it stops them squeaking. Shut up. He tried to get me again with that one the other day. I think he thought because he'd left it 12 months, he could have me a second time with it. But anyway, ah, Andy McIntosh. Oh, there we go. I've missed a few comments here. I felt like that on Thursday last week. I was up most of the night, just couldn't face work. Went back on Friday. Head felt like in a bag of spanners, isn't he? I know the feeling, mate. I know the feeling. Omar definitely has the same thoughts on it himself. Bogdan, Christmas isn't about something else. It's about something else. Well, it's meant to be, mate. Yeah, it is. Unfortunately, the sort of true meaning of Christmas has basically been lost, hasn't it? It's been commercialized in the West now, so it's just about money and spending. If it wasn't for the shops, it wasn't for big commerce, we probably wouldn't have Christmas anymore because we've sort of gone to a godless society anyway. So, not that that's a good thing, by the way. Um, Sean MUFC. I've convinced the missus not to go to her mum's for Xmas Day. We're having a nice quiet one. Oh, sounds ace. Just lying back on the couch, eating your chocolates, drinking your beer, watching the telly. I've got to get dressed up. I have to put all my fancy clothes on. And you boys know I'm just in my scruffs all the time. I feel more comfortable in my work clothes than I do in any other type of clothing. But when it's Christmas Day, I've got to put jeans on, flipping shirt, and all this caper, and go around to my parents' house. Which, by the way, my missus' parents are fantastic. I love the bones of them. But you know, you sort of you've had your dinner, and you just want to get your kecks off, don't you? Lie in your boxer shorts on the couch, in charge of your own TV remote, with your own beer, sort of doing what you feel like doing. But instead, I've got to sort of sit there and interact with the outlaws, the in-laws. Sorry, but I interact with the in-laws. Don't call them the outlaws. Uh, I've just skipped a load of comments here. Sorry. Um, Fraser Spence, what music do you listen to, Kirk? And do you listen whilst plastering? I do, mate. I do. I love music. The thing is, though, I can't play any music really off the radio or off YouTube, any sort of licensed music, because my videos get copyright strikes against them, and they'll shut my channel down. So I can't ever have music playing. Wait there. Turn this heater off. I can't have music playing in the background whilst we're filming because it'll just kill my channel. But yeah, music. What was I listening to today? Cat Stevens. So, just by the way, my music taste is probably horrendous to any of these younger lads, but I like a bit of Cat Stevens, Bruce Springsteen. We've had Bob Dylan on the go. We've had Dolly Parton. We've had a right variety. REO Speedwagon. What else have we had on today? The Animals. Flipping heck. Trying to think. Or I've got quite a wide variety, a wide taste in music. Ultimately, Ian Hudson, Kurt, can you give advice? I did an MVQ level 2 basic route and plastering years ago. Did a little bit, then fell into something else, and now I'm 34. What is the best way to get back into it? All right, Ian. I would say the best way, if you want to get back into plastering now at 34, because you're not old, but You know, you don't really want to be going like a lunatic on site for peanuts as like a labourer. Um, I would say your best bet is to stay in your lane, stay doing what you're doing, um, find another plasterer and offer to work with him um, cheap on the weekends and evenings, and build it up and build yourself up and get better and better at what you're doing until ultimately you've got that sort of much work and you're doing that well that your day job is in the way, and then give the day job off, you know, and transverse over to full time plastering. That's what I would potentially do. It's easier to jump in with somebody else who's already set up and running, but nobody's going to want to take it on full time. So you're going to have to find someone that you know or someone that, you know, a local fella, and just say, listen, I can do the job. I want to get into it. I wouldn't mind just giving you a hand on the weekends or something. And, you know, I'm basically telling that you're happy to work for cheap because no one really wants the commitment of having to pay. Here's the thing, right? There is loads of work around, but a lot of fellas have a scarcity mindset and think that there's not loads of work around. And for me to take on another plasterer, that basically means I've got to look after my wage feeds my family. And if I take on another man, I've got to feed his family as well. Does that make sense? So all the work that I get in keeps me going. So for me to take on another fella, I've got to sort of like take on his bills and that as well. So it's down to me to bring in enough work to feed his family as well, which can be a bit of a scary situation for someone to say yes to you. So if you say to him, look, I've already got a job, I just want to do a bit on the weekends and I'm happy to do it cheap to help you, then you'd be in with a lot better of a chance at getting in with somebody. And ultimately, that's going to be the fastest way to learn a lot quicker is to jump in with somebody else, in my opinion. Andy McIntosh, Christmas is awful time for me. I lost my mum 28th of November 7 years ago, and the dad 17th December 21. So I just try to make it as enjoyable for the kids. There's loads of people in this situation, mate. And Christmas is, yeah. I think, to be honest with you, I think the only people that enjoy Christmas is kids and women. Us blokes, we're just like flipping. You know, all I'm thinking is, how much is this going to cost me this year? How many thousands is this going to cost? And then obviously, you know, there's different situations of people passing away around Christmas time, so it's not a nice time for a lot of people that are just on their own as well. You know, Chris B. I'm in a different trade, but thanks for all your useful vids. Renovating an old bungalow, so really helped me. Merry Christmas. Cheers, Chris. Uh, there we go. Well, we're done here now. Richard Paul Kirk. Evening, mate. We've got cats. We used to have mice. Do you know what, mate? We've got three cats ourselves now. We didn't have the cats when I had the mouse, and I'm not really keen on cats, but I've managed to end up with three of them anyway. So three cats, two dogs, four kids, six horses, one wife, one sheep. Last time I counted. It's fucking bizarre, isn't it? Oh, that's what you get for marrying an animal lover. Johnny H. I. Kirk, if doing a wall or ceiling, when would you first cross trial be to get the wall flat? Um, it all depends on you, really, mate. You know, I sort of lay it on quite neat, so I don't. I literally will first coat, and I don't bother trialing in between. I'll first coat it, second coat it, and then I'll flatten it, and I'll potentially go the opposite way when I flatten it. I'll cross trowel it then, and then I'll just alternate for each trowel. You know, the first wet trowel, the second wet trowel, and the polish. I'll go opposite ways for each one of those. Um, some people like to. There's all different ways of doing it, mate. Some people like to lay on in one direction and then second coat it in another direction. There's just different ways of doing it, but ultimately for me, I just alternate when I'm troweling up. Gary P, 27, love AC/DC, Queen. Yeah, I like Queen, mate. Bee Gees, Led Zeppelin, Elvis, Coldplay, Radiohead. Yeah, fair dues, mate. I like a bit of Elvis, to be fair. Tony C, Kirk, have you ever plastered a famous person's house? Um, last famous person I worked for was um, oh, what was his name now? I should know this. Shane Lynch. He was in, was it Boyzone? He was in Shane Lynch. I don't know. He's in Boyzone or one of the boy bands anyway. Anyhow, we did Shane Lynch. That's his name anyway. I don't know what band he was in. I'm not really that interested in whether he was famous or not. But he's got a place near us because he does drifting. So I didn't know what drifting was. Apparently, they go on a race course and you get your car, you get the back end of the car out by wheel spinning it sideways, and then you race all the way around the course with your car with the back end out. It's not really my cup of tea. It just wrecks tires, but apparently people enjoy doing it. So, but he's into that. He's into drifting. So he's got a car place near us. Just in Ellesmere Port here. I can't tell you where. I had to be sworn to secrecy. I'll never reveal the location so his fans don't turn up. But he had all these fancy cars in there, and he had a studio built in the warehouse where he was going to film raffling cars off. Now I think they changed the plans. We plastered it all for him. Massive, absolutely massive walls. We plastered it all, and then I think they canned the idea, and they didn't do the raffles from there. But either way, Shane Lynch, yeah, and it was interesting because I'm not really that bothered if someone's famous or not. You know, he's just a bloke, isn't he? You know, so I said to him, "Oh, mate," I said, "Shane, we have a photo." So I could see in his eyes, he was like, oh, here we go again, you know, here we go. So he comes over, takes the picture, and I said to him, oh, mate, now you can tell all your mates that you met Kirk Johnstone, the plasterer. And to be fair, he was laughing his head off. He thought it was quite funny. But yeah, he was the last famous person I worked for. Um, who else have we done stuff for? Oh, you know what? Um, Oh, I can't flip it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Whatever. Shane Lynch. There was there's a fella from Steps. I can't think of his name. He bought a house on ah me. Do you know what? My brain's frazzled. Anyway, there's a fella from Steps as well, and I did some work in his house, but I never met him. It was arranged through somebody else, but he owned the house. But I can't even think of his name. As you can tell, I'm not really that interested for that much. I am. I like people. I like people, but I'm not sort of I'm not bewildered by their fame, if that makes sense. You know, we're all just blokes, aren't we? Just doing different things. Um, Thomas Rutherford. By watching your videos of plastering my front room, and it turned out brilliant. So thank you for sharing your skills and knowledge. Hey, spot on. Cheers, Thomas. What's this here? Meza. Hey, Kirk. Thanks for all your hard work. I paid 650 for a 3-day course, and it was great. But your videos have definitely helped me to go to another level. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, Sam. Oh, Sam, you're a gentleman. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. I'll have a couple of pints for that, mate. You're a legend. Thank you. Uh, Joe Morris. Cheers, mate. Thank you. Oh, Sam as well. He's just, well, Meza, is his YouTube name. Unfortunately, we're losing a horse tomorrow. Back leg's gone. Oh, mate. Sorry to hear that. I've been there a few times, mate. To be honest with you, with the missus. I mean, I'm not. When I say I'm not an animal lover, I like animals, and I hate seeing things suffer. I genuinely hate it. My missus genuinely loves animals, whereas I could sort of like, I could sort of sell them. You know, I don't get that emotionally attached to them. Um, but yeah, it's sad when you lose an animal that's been in the family so long. So what hurts me is when we've had horses put down in the past, see me missus and kids heartbroken, sobbing whilst it's happening. But yeah, back legs gone, mate. If the, don't you? If they're lying down, they won't get up. Then that's the end of it, really. So, uh, all round, Paul. Hi, Kirk. I'd got cut out and replaced some water damaged ceiling boards today in an apartment. It was double boarded. Is this normal? As never seen it before. It wasn't overboarded, by the way. Cheers. Yes. If depending on who the builder was, we used to do apartment blocks for Red Row, and they used to use planking boards on the ceilings. So they'd use these like 20 mil, I think they were 20 mil planking boards, only so wide. They were just like planks, but made of plasterboard, and then you'd use normal boards on top of them as well. Um, so yeah, I suppose it is normal, but they sort of did away with that after a while. So I don't know. I don't know what the spec was. I don't know what the whole purpose in it was, but um, they used to put them as well in some timber framed houses where it was a timber framed house and it was a semi detached house, and where you were plasterboarding on the party wall, because basically all that was keeping you from next door was plasterboard. So they used to put planking boards on those walls as well. So we'd plank them and then we'd board them as normal. But we used to laugh and joke about it, saying all that's keeping you from next door is just 4 layers of plasterboard. I mean, when the neighbours kick off and they're banging on the walls. You've seen these programs, haven't you? Neighbours from Hell. I mean, you could literally get into next door's house with a pad saw, just cut. There's Johnny. But there's thousands of houses like that up and down the country. Gary Pete, the perfect break you can have on any job is a cup of coffee and a Benson and Hedges Gold. I don't smoke, mate, but me dad, he knew all about that, mate. Yeah, fair play. Oh, Raymond, uh, Raymond Berry, thinking about getting into. Oh, wait there. You guys are commenting, and these comments are just drifting up out the way. Raymond Berry, thinking about getting into Venetian plaster to save on the body damage. Would you recommend it? And do you do Venetian? Um, Raymond, I suppose it all depends on where you are, mate. So, where I am in Ellesmere Port, I hardly ever get asked for Venetian plastering. Literally, in the last, 20 years, I've maybe been asked 3 times. Now, when it all started coming out, Gold Trowel were doing videos on it and all sorts of stuff years ago. And I bought all the kit to do it, and I did some in my house on the dining room wall, and I was made up with it. It looked dead fancy, like marble plaster on the wall. It was polished. It looked fantastic, and it was there for about a year until we decided actually, it just looked a bit tacky. But it was super polished. I mean, it's come a long way since then. There's loads better stuff. But ultimately, I don't really get asked ever for it. So I do think it's starting to kick off, though. I do think that there is a bigger call for it, especially in the cities. But like I say, where I am, it's not. There's not really that much of a call for it. Uh, Fraser Spence, I plastered the ceiling recently. 3 coats of 60/40 PVA, then the skim was going off almost as quick as it was laying on. Any idea why? The ceiling had been Artex, which had been stripped off before I skimmed it. Oh, high suction backgrounds, mate. There could be all sorts of reasons. If the ceiling below it was grey and it was Carlite finish, there's your answer. That stuff is horrendous for high suction. PVA. Well, we did a test on this recently. We did some. There's a video on my channel where we test all different sealers, and ultimately, mate, SPR is a better sealer. SPR will kill the suction better than PVA. But if you ultimately, as we found out, which was disappointing to me because I wanted SPR to win, but as we found out, the best thing for completely killing suction is one good thick coat of blue grit. I mean, that just literally suction's gone. Some plasterers like a bit of suction from the background to help the plaster go off quicker. But if you're struggling with suction on big ceilings and stuff, then blue grit. I personally don't like it. And I personally won't use it because I don't like the grit in it. You know, it's too thick. The plaster's got to go on too thick. But the test proved it was the best at killing suction. I personally use SBR. PVA isn't quite good enough for what I want it to do. So, um, Gary P. A funny old story from my dad is his uncle was on a building site and got a delivery and couldn't find the gaffer to sign the paperwork and signed it from Tom Jones. Fair dues, mate. Uh, uh, Paul Sanderson for sound before sound block boards. There we go. Yeah, that's what your planking boards were for. Do you know when I was using planking boards on site, mate? I must have been about 17 years old. So at that point, I didn't question anything. I was just getting told what to do. So actually makes sense, mate. Exactly what you're saying. Yeah, yeah, the planking boards because it wasn't long after that we stopped using them, and yeah, sound block boards were on the agenda instead, and they brought out. We were using 15 mil sound block 8x4s. They were a flipping nightmare carrying them to the third floor of flats. I tell you what, you knew you'd loaded 2 packs of them up. And then they brought in the sound block rapids, which were, I thought they were worse. They were smaller, so they were lighter because they were like half the size, but they were harder to carry because it was just an 8 I don't know. If you've loaded rapids up, then you know. I thought that 8x4s were easier, although they were heavier to handle because the rapids were just a bit of a weird shape. But yeah, I'm done with site work. I won't be using none of them ever again. So. Mod a ketchup head. Can I have a mod? I don't know, mate. Yeah, you do whatever you want, mate. Um, Nathan James, you all right, mate? How you doing? I'm a recently subscriber. Love your content. Cheers, Nathan. You're a gentleman. Um, CW, new build apartments in Liverpool Town, Pall Mall, 2009 were double boarded, acoustic, then skimmed. Be hearing the neighbours. Fair dues. Uh, Fat Wallet Boy 2, Gold Trial, there's a blast from me past. Do you know what? I remember being about, I must have been in my early 20s. And I remember, because there wasn't much on the internet then, and I used to go on Gold Trial and go on their website. And my missus used to, right, so just get this into your mind, right? So I'm about 20, yeah? Meant to be a bit of a jackal lad. I'm out round all the boozers and everything, settled down with my missus, and I'm meant to be like, one of the boys. And I'm getting videos from Gold Trial DVDs sent to me. And she's come in the living room and I'm watching videos on pebble dashing, how to do pebble dashing different way. Because I was taught by my old fella, but it's good to have I've only been shown one way. So I want to see if there's any different ways and any better ways. So she's come in the living room and there's me sat there with a cup of coffee watching plasterers, she's like, you flipping nerd. But it's funny now because all I ever get is comments on my YouTube videos of fellas saying, "Me missus always takes the mick out of me for watching your videos." And I know what it feels like. My missus just went, "You're sad, you," and just walked out like she was disappointed in me. I felt like I'd lost my soul. Oh, sorry about the coughing, guys. I genuinely am a little bit poorly. Um, Nothing that'll stop me, but I'll tell you what it is. When you feel ill and all your joints are aching, like my shoulders and my elbows and my wrist, everything just feels achy. Anyway, not asking for sympathy, by the way. I know you don't care, really. Ah, Andrew Cathcart, hello, fella. Just wanted to say you're absolutely sound. Cheers, Andy, mate. You're a gentleman. Scops 10 times. You're almost at 26,000 subscribers. Do you know what, mate? It's good. I have been keeping my eye on the subscribers, and it's nice that it's going up. But look, just so you know, this channel, I made this channel for me little lad. I've got a little, and I'll tell you how it comes. Right, sorry, I'm not going to read the comments for a minute. I'm going to tell you, take you on a little journey for a minute and just explain to you why I've actually got a YouTube channel. So my son now, he's 14, 15 months old. When he was born, or when he was on his way, I thought to myself, do you know what? I'm probably going to be too old to teach him everything. I'll still be working, but my enthusiasm for plastering isn't what it used to be 10 years ago. I can feel it waning off. I can feel that I'm not really that interested in it as much as what I used to be. I mean, I've got I've got tons of plastering books down here. I used to watch DVDs. I was obsessed with wanting to be the best plasterer I possibly could. And I've taught maybe 6 or 7 lads to plaster. I've got a new lad with me now, and I've sort of noticed that when I'm teaching the last lad, Kieran, that went, I could sort of feel myself not really giving it 110% with him. I was a bit like, oh, whatever. I couldn't really be bothered teaching him. So I'm starting to get a bit fearful that when my son is ready in the next, 15, 20 years, I might not have any enthusiasm for teaching him at all. And it's a bit of a disservice to him. Now, he might not want to be a plasterer, but I thought to myself, what I'll do is, because I won't have time to show him everything, I'll start recording different things, different jobs, and I'll save them all for him so he can see them. But I also never got really much chance to meet either of my grandfathers. They both died when I was dead young. And I love learning about them, getting stories about them, asking my grandma about them, asking my mum and dad about them. But there's only so much you can actually get from a story from somebody else retelling it. So I thought to myself, right, I want to kill a couple of birds with one stone here. I'll start making videos to teach my son how to plaster, different things, how to do jobs, different situations that he might come across. And I'll store them all so they can't ever be deleted. They're not on my phone where it can be lost or broken or put in a cloud and you lose a password. I'll put them on YouTube so that he's always got access to them. That was the plan. And I'll inject a little bit of my personality into it so that maybe my grandkids, if I might be dead in another 20 years' time, my grandkids, they can get to know a little bit about me. You might go, oh, he was quite a nice bloke. We would have had a laugh with him, got on with him. So I thought, I'll put these videos online so they're always there. I never actually considered the fact that anyone would start watching them. It was never the intended goal to sort of have a YouTube channel. It was just in my mind somewhere I could store videos that would never be deleted and they'd always be there. And the next minute, got all you boys, who were like me mates now, commenting on me stuff. And then we've got like a little community of, I actually look forward to the comments on my videos of you guys. So yeah, it's just sort of grown, but that wasn't the intended purpose. But anyway, here we are, and I quite enjoy it now. I've sort of I like taking on new challenges, and I've said this before in other videos, but the YouTube sort of game, it's become like a bit of a competition for me because I like to win at things. If I do something, I like to win at it. I like to. It's like a computer game. You don't want to lose. So when you do a video, when I post a video from my end, I've got like a little dashboard and it shows me, this video is performing not quite as good as the last one you did. So then it's like, oh, I want to. You don't want to hear that it's not as good. You want to sort of make it better. So yeah, it's like a little game that I've got with YouTube now where I have to try and make better content. But anyway, now you know why I'm here. Ah, Graham Barker, how hard is it to plaster? Graham, how hard is it to ride a bike, mate? That's the question. It's like it's hard if you don't know how to do it, but as soon as you start learning and you master it, it's not hard. So um and then it's just a case of, different situations. It's like anything, mate. It's just a skill. Just takes a little bit of time to learn. It's ultimately not something you can learn from reading a book or watching a video. I can show you stuff, But for you to actually learn to do it, you've got to teach this hand and this hand how to work together and how to do the job. You know, it's more of a case of cognitive skills, if that makes sense. Just takes a bit of practice. Um, Daniel Coleman, would you travel to Accrington from you to do some work? It's about an hour drive. Oh, oh, yeah, I would, mate. I would. Seeing as you've asked me, I would. But ultimately, I don't want to drive out there to look at the job to price it up. So if you want me to come to Accrington, the best thing to do is email me, send me some pictures. Let's have a look at the job. I'll just sort of send you the ballpark figure, and then um, we'll go from there, mate. But yeah, I suppose, seeing as you've asked me, Johnny H. If by the way, if you want to email me, mate, me email address is in my channel description, so you can just find it in there. Johnny H. If plastering a normal room, e.g., 3 by 3, do you do 2 sets or a rolling set? What's the best method for being most productive? Is rolling sets double on your own chairs? Right, so rolling sets, mate. I've done a video on rolling sets. I used to do rolling sets all the time when I was on price. A rolling set is you can get tons and tons and tons of plastering done because you actually just don't stop putting on. You just keep putting on until you sort of time it, right? Okay, in 2 hours' time, I want to go home. So you stop laying on at that point. It's in a very efficient way, but you don't get any breaks. Literally, you will not have time. You've got to eat your sandwiches as you're traveling up, mate. There's just no stopping. So a rolling set is productive, yeah. I mean, I sort of don't want to work like that anymore. I do domestic work now, so I'd rather price it so that I can work at a nice steady pace and do the best job I can, as opposed to trying to get as much done as possible. See, on site, you want to do a decent-ish standard, but as much as possible. Whereas domestic work, it's more about cleanliness. So I don't do rolling sets anymore. Although I did to make a video, but I didn't do it fully, if that makes sense. I didn't really have to do it. I just sort of demonstrated how you would do it. But no, it's not something I want to go back to doing. Put it that way. It was all right when I was in my 20s. Andrew Cathcart, I had some plastering work done the other week, and YouTube has suddenly recommended your channel. Yeah, mate, that's how Google works. Google is always listening, isn't it? Nothing to do with me. I haven't done it, mate. I haven't put cookies in your phone or nothing like that. But yeah, you know what it's like. You talk about something, and then the next minute you get an advert on your phone for it, and the next minute YouTube's putting recommendations for you. Anyway, I hope they done a nice job for you, mate. Um, Graham Barker. Oh, there we go with John Almond. You might not be old enough to remember the honeycomb board. It's everywhere in mid early 70s builds. Bloody hate it. Yeah, I never installed it, mate, but I've worked on a load of jobs that have got it, and it is an absolute nightmare. It's a nightmare if somebody chops something in the wall because it's like almost impossible. Well, it's not impossible to patch it up. So if someone's got the honeycomb board, it's like plaster. Just so everyone knows what we're on about. Like plasterboard on one side, plasterboard on the other side, and it's like cardboard in like hexagons in the middle or crisscrosses in the middle. And what happens is someone will come along and put a chase down it and put cables in there or pipes in there, and there's sort of no way that you can fill it. Well, there is. Usually, I would insert plasterboard and put some timber behind there, but you can't because all these bits of cardboard are in the way. So you end up having to just fill it up, and then you don't want to fill it with plaster because it's dead thick. It takes tons and tons of plaster to fill it up. So what I end up doing is putting expanding foam there, cutting the foam uh, back a little bit behind the board, and then filling it with bonding and putting scrim over it. But yeah, anyway, bit of a nightmare, mate. I agree with you. John McDonald, excellent, Kurt. Never really knew my grandparents. Good on you. That's what I'm thinking. That's my plan. Make it so the grandkids can when me lad and me daughters are saying, "Oh yeah, your granddad was nuts," I mean, at least they can watch the videos and confirm it. So, Gary Apis Apicilla. I'm sure that's how you pronounce your name, mate. I hope it is. Hey, buddy, you're genuinely one of a kind, mate. I've always wanted to be able to help people like you. Would you have me come from Glasgow? Sorry, mate. Let me just read this again. Gary, hey, buddy, you're genuinely one of a kind, mate. I've always wanted to be able to help people like you. Would you have me come from Glasgow to do a job with you? Mate, you're more than welcome to come down, but Glasgow's one hell of a drive. I tell you that I've been to Glasgow. Um, we went, we went. Is it Greenock or Greenock? My mate's got family there. And we went up there when I was about 19, and that was a that. Hey, that's a crazy place. That place. It was. Yeah, it was. Everyone was telling us how dangerous it was. Everywhere you went, you were getting sort of like warned. Shh, shh, don't let them hear your accent because they'll jump you. But everyone we met was lovely. Literally every single Glaswegian or I don't know, a Granakite, I don't know what you call them, but they were all lovely. They're all sound. But it was bizarre. We ended up back in a hotel with a couple of girls and a couple of other Glaswegians. I think sort of. It's like when you're sort of like 19, whatever. You go back to a party and whatever. You. Anyway, it was like the second floor, so not the ground floor. Sorry, the first floor, not the ground floor. The next floor up. We were one floor up in this hotel. And these girls, they were getting off, they were going, they wanted to leave. So they phoned a taxi, and the taxi pulled up outside and did ring back. These two girls, instead of just going down the escalator or down the stairs out the front door, just jumped off the balcony. They'd been absolutely nuts, mate. Anyway, Graham Barker, nice one, mate. Just found your channel. Good stuff. Nice to have you, Graham. Um, Andrew Cathcart, reckon you could do some step-by-step guides to plastering DIY for new homeowners, materials, methods, etc. I'm clueless, but I would like to learn a new skill, and you seem like a good teacher. Cheers, Andy. I've actually there's loads of videos, mate, that I've already done that are like sort of step-by-step guides for skimming, and videos on different materials and stuff. But they're probably miles down in my videos now, mate. Um, Honeycomb board, Paramount partition. That's the stuff, yeah. And it's sort of joined together by like little timber battens, isn't it? Um, there's a place near me called Tin Town, and it's all Paramount boarded. And they didn't plaster the walls; they just sort of put like these little metal strips over the joints. The amount of work I've done in there, it's bizarre how much. Fraser Spence, Greenock, best road there is the road out. Adrian Innes, did you know Weber OCR can be scraped the same as all the other Monocouche renders? That's interesting. That's interesting, Adrian. I didn't. I didn't know. I thought it was basically just a replacement of sand and cement. I didn't know you could do a straight finish on it. Uh, I have actually, toyed with the idea of putting sand and cement on and scraping that when it's going off and seeing what that looks like. But I just haven't had a job where I can experiment with it yet. But I can't see why that wouldn't work either, unless there's stones in the sand. Like because I usually use a grit sand. I'd have to use maybe a finer sand so that you wouldn't get big scores down the work. Gary P, you say you used to love plastering, etc. But were you interested or tried other careers like the military or delivery driver for a big company, etc.? So, yeah, the mad thing was, Gary, don't want to go into my whole life story and bore the life out of everyone. But I left school. I was one of the youngest in the year, so I left school when I was 15. Now I'd already worked for my dad every school holiday, every weekend since I started high school. So I could already I already had the basics of plastering by the time I'd left school. So when I left school at 15, I could already plaster. Not very fast, but I could, I could skim. I could get by. And I wanted to go in the army. That's my mum's dad was a PTI in the army. So I signed up um, to the engineers. I was going to go in the Royal Engineers. And then when I got my date to go in, my dad talked me out of it because it was all kicking off with 9/11, all the stuff in Afghanistan, that was all kicking off at the time. And my dad sort of talked me out of it. He said, if you go now, you'll just be sort of like cannon fodder. So he talked me out of it and said, come plastering full time with me. Now we were doing domestic work at the time. That's all my dad did was domestic work. And I didn't want to do any more domestic work because I was sick of just being the cleaner upper all the time. That was my job, was just cleaning up all the time. So he said, look, we'll go on the building sites. So that was the plan. We went on site. And actually at the same time as learning to plaster like this, my dad taught me old school. So all the work I'd done with him was all like sand and cement, float and set. But when we were on site, it was all dry lining. So it was like a whole new world to me of plastering, learning how to dry line, which my dad sort of could do, but was very slow at it. So anyway, we were doing that. And at the same time, because I sort of hated working with my dad, I decided I wanted to go to college and train to do a different trade. So I went to college to be an electrician and did me 236 part one and two as an electrician. Um, but worked all week as a plasterer. Just went one day a week to be a spark. Never took the sparking up. Just did the college course. Stayed, did it all, but carried on plastering because it made sense then. Because I was getting paid sort of so much for plastering, for me to start as an apprentice again. Because don't forget, I'd already done like an apprenticeship all the way through school learning to plaster, so I was already sort of earning a decent wage plastering. To go back down again as an apprentice electrician, so I stayed with plastering. And the electrics has just sort of helped me all the way along because obviously, you come up against different things, spotlights, cables, or if I sort of like screw through a cable, I know how to fix it. It's not rocket science for me. So the electrical side of things, I never really followed it up, but I've got the knowledge, if that makes sense. So I've done a few things, mate. Plastering for years. I come off the building sites in 2008. Went full time doing domestic plastering, and then after a good few years of doing that, I got into doing bathroom fitting. Teamed up with another bathroom fitter because I could do tiling. The only thing I couldn't do was the plumbing, so I went and did a little MVQ in plumbing to learn how to fit bathroom suites. So then I was doing bathroom fitting for about a year. I teamed up with another bathroom fitter who he also fitted kitchens and bathrooms, but I never got into the joinery side of things. I just sort of I would labour on him when he was fitting the kitchen, and he'd labour on me when I was doing the skimming. But between us, we could do everything, and that was great. But ultimately, that the fellow I was working with it was absolutely fantastic fella. I love the bones of him, Mark Hughes. He was a single fella, and what would happen was we'd work dead late because we'd always get something else done. Just get this done, get that. But he didn't have a missus nagging him sort of to get home early. So after about a year of that, my missus was just sick of me working like, till 9, 10 o'clock every night. I had a little bit extra money, but ultimately no family life. So I canned that and just went back to plastering. Um, so I have tried different things, but ultimately plastering is what I've done since I was like 11 years old. So I've just sort of stuck with it now. I've just sort of give up on everything else and just stay plastering. I've just missed a few comments here. Um, where have we got to here now? I seen it, Coy. Kirk, have you ever fell off a scaffold? Yes, of course I have. I fell off scaffold and I fell downstairs. Flipping heck, yeah, fell off me stilts. Yeah, yeah. I climbed up the outside of a tower once before people told me that if you lean back the tower tips over. I got almost to the top and then it tipped. So that was, but all these things, luckily, what you find is you make all these mistakes when you're young, don't you? So you sort of bounce better. Whereas if I fell off one now, I'd probably be in hospital. But yeah, I fell off two scaffoldings and I fell down the stairs 3 or 4 times when planks have snapped. You're on a plank, ladder and plank doing a stairwell. I've had a couple of planks snap on me as well over the years. Uh, where are we up to? Ryan Hollywell. Ryan Hollywell, how long are you having off for Christmas, pal? Um, Not long, mate. To be honest with you, I've got I've got a full house to plaster between Christmas and New Year. So here's my after doing domestic work for years and years. Sorry, give me a second. Wait there once. Oh, may as well have two cans back now, seeing as I want to have a chat. Um, After doing domestic work for so long, I've literally decided to myself for the last 10 years, Christmas time, having time off at Christmas doesn't suit me for a few reasons. I like having a pint. If I go out at Christmas, the pubs are rammed full of people that don't drink usually. So all these lunatics come out the woodwork and you can't get served at the bar and it's all rowdy and there's all flipping people that, can't handle the ale out. So going to pubs are a nightmare. Restaurants are absolutely chocker. If you want to go shopping, the shops are rammed. So, and the weather's rubbish. So I would rather have maybe Christmas Day off and Boxing Day and New Year's Day and work the rest of it. If I'm going to have time off, I'll have off in the summer, July, when I can have a barbecue, I can lie around the garden. My missus doesn't work, you see, so I can take me and the missus, we can walk over to Cheshire Oaks, we can have a little lunch date out, we can go for little meals out, we can go out somewhere nice, whatever, in the summer. There's no one around, it's quiet, it's peaceful. That's when I like to have time off. So in the winter, I'd rather just keep my head down and just keep working. That's how I do it, mate. But doesn't suit everyone, but that's how I like to do it. Uh, Ask the plasterer, Eric. Evening, matey. How are you, Eric? You okay, mate? Um, John McDonnell. Kirk was a spark ish. Yeah. The dark side. Oh. Eddie Fox, Australian scrape sand and cement due to the heat and the reduced setting time. That's good to know, mate. Yeah. So it is possible. Might be a cheaper alternative, mightn't it? Just say to them, look, we'll put sand and cement and we'll scrape it and you paint it and it'll look similar to a Monocouche render, only for a fraction of the cost of the materials. Um, Andrew Cathcart, you're going to do a man cave tour, Kirk. I've done loads of them, mate. There's not much to see. There's literally there's a little beer fridge down here, sink. There's a toilet behind that there. It's like so. There's a loo in there. A couple of TVs, PS5s. Workshop in there, mate. All my tools and everything are through that door. There's a little couch here where people seem to crash out. This is like my little drinking den in here. So if my mates come and visit me, because we've got a full house, having 3 daughters and a son, if anyone sort of comes, they just sort of crash out on this little couch here. There's infrared heaters down. It's all fully insulated. Yeah, you get the gist of it. It's quite cozy in here. I sort of built this as a little den for me, but seem to be getting moved out by the daughters. To be honest with you, they seem to want to come in here with their mates more often than not. James Robinson, what's the best way to skim reveals without getting any on the windows and doors? Take a little bit and go in neat. Stay out the angle. Stay away from the window frame about an inch when you're laying on, and then just nip a little bit and go in neat. rather than fully loaded up right into the reveal. Lewis Carl, 1988. Absolutely class your ale and still cracking open a can. Yeah, I'm a hardcore drinker, mate. I'm only having two anyway. Mm. Eases the pain, doesn't it? All the aches. Lancy boy, how do you cope with the hot summers working in small rooms? I don't, mate. I don't cope with it very well. I just end up sweating. Uh, um, James McMullen, the car body fill goes off fairly quick, but not sure on explanation. Okay. Ah, we're there. We're there. Where's James James McMullen? Am I okay to use P38 body filler to fill in chasing out that I've done for the TV? P38 body filler. Um, I wouldn't have a clue. So I know what you're talking about, mate. Using car body filler to fill out a chase. I mean, James, a bag of bonding, bag of bonding coat is going to cost about, I don't know, 9 or 10 quid. Um, and it'll be probably easier to use, mate. I don't know. I would just use bonding coat, pal. Uh, I see Nikoi, same here. Stilts are the worst to fall off. Oh, mate, falling over on stilts, right? Depending on how you fall. So when I fell, my foot slipped forwards and I did the splits. But oh, you can imagine if when your legs are about 5 foot long doing the splits. Yeah, it was it was horrendous. That's the best way of putting it. I was squealing. Uh, Andrew Cathcart, are you in the garage like, or a shed, or right? Okay, so basically, this building here, there's I can't show you because this is on my laptop. So if you're on my phone, if you're on this, I could just whiz you around and show you. This was like it used to be a carport was here, and I knocked the carport down and extended that way and out a little bit. So it's sort of like 4 meters wide by 10 meters long. And this like office area is like a 4 meter square um, box basically. Um, so it's all like it's what is it? Concrete slab, blue engineering brick up, sort of like knee high, and then I've built a timber frame and cladded it, and put those imitation slate tiles on the roof. But it's all sort of insulated and yeah, I've done a nice job of it, mate. So it keeps me quite happy. But inside here, all this timber that you see on the walls, like burnt pallet wood, my missus was determined, yeah, plaster it all nice. I put spotlights in there and have it all fancy. And do you know what? I said, all I do day in, day out is skim these little garage rooms, these little garden rooms, or whatever you want to call them. I just I am I'm not doing any plastering in here. Right. I don't want any plasterboard. I want to be able to just get anywhere I want to put a fixing in here. I just screw straight into the wall with wood screws. There's not a single bit of plaster in here. And that's how I wanted it. You know, sort of when you do it all day, you don't want to come home and start doing it in your own place, do you? So, you know, I specifically didn't want any plaster in it at all. And do you know what? I'm quite pleased I didn't because what I find is I put the heaters on and it gets quite hot in here quite quick because it's so well insulated. I turn the heaters off and I can go out and come in the next morning. And the wood sort of holds the heat. I'm sure it's the wood that's doing it. I'm sure the wood absorbs the heat and then just keep because the insulation's behind it because it just stays warm in here then for like till the next day. So plaster is quite cold to touch, isn't it? Right, there's quite a few comments just whizzed in there. So Stephen, hello from New Zealand, bro. How you doing, Stephen? Zazzy, um, Kurt, did you get any thank you texts off that old woman? Thank you text? No, no, I didn't, mate. No, um, I don't think she's up to texting, to be honest with you. Um, Gary P, Budweiser, come on, can't beat an ice cold pint of Guinness. Yeah, I like Guinness, mate. To be honest with you, if you watch any more of my lives, guys, you'll notice. Well, I sort of my missus just buys me different beers all the time. So it could be Budweiser today, it could be Stella, Kronenberg. She just gets me a few cans when she's out doing the shopping. So, I've had Guinness. What is she got me? Flipping heck, she got me Carlsberg Super once. Like these like black cans. It was like treacle. To do me a favour. It was what after it was at 9% or something crazy. Like that's like rocket fuel. I said, babe, don't get me no more of that. I said, I'll be getting carted off by the men in white coats if I start drinking that every evening. It was far too powerful for my likings. But what was the last I remember it wasn't that long ago. I had some tins of Fosters, and someone was giving me stick on the internet saying, "Look at him sat in his shed drinking his cheap Fosters." Oh, I'll tell you what, yeah, that's one thing I've learned. You've got to be thick-skinned to be on the internet. You don't half get them coming out the woodwork at you. Fellas that don't even know you're giving you stick, telling you, "Yeah, you're wrong." It's like, all right, so do whatever you want. I don't care. Tom Stapleton, after working 7 years in a job, any tips on a career change? Working weekends killing me, not spending time with me two little girls. Love the channel, mate. Keep it up. Oh, if you're going to do a career change into a trade, mate, you've got to have to work the weekends even more because you need to start. This is the thing. This is the situation I'm in. This is my situation, mate. Imagine me trying to do a career change now. I literally can't get out of plastering. I have to stay doing this because my family have become accustomed to a certain amount of income, and for me to change and go to something else and start at the bottom, I couldn't afford to do it. So I'm sort of locked in. So the only way to sort of escape it is to put in loads of extra time on the weekends to learn a new skill. And yeah, I don't know, mate. Don't know. Although YouTube is sort of helping me a little bit now financially. It's sort of it's starting to pay a little bit, which is quite nice. Paul Murphy, I Kurt, just got on. What have I missed? Not a lot, Paul. Just me coughing, mate. Just me coughing and spluttering. Not a lot, to be honest with you. Uh, Jamie Marshall, what's the best thing for outdoor tiles that goes on breeze blocks? Would ground adhesive be any good? I don't know. As I have a pond and want to do a nice feature, etc. to it, I would use, mate, flexible slow set tile adhesive. But it's not really my field. But I'm just saying I've done a bit of tiling. Um, Ponds aren't really my forte, but I would probably use a flexible slow set tile adhesive. That seems to stick to almost anything. Uh, Mad Dog Sue, do you think you would hire a black man? Yeah, why not? I'm not racist. In fact, my mate Amir worked for me for a couple of months, and he's not black, he's more brown, he's half caste. But yeah, yeah, I don't see why not, mate. Um, in fact, he used to have a laugh at me, Amir, because he used to come round to my house in the morning, and I'd still be in bed, and he'd be stood in my kitchen, and I'd come down, and he'd be having a laugh, saying, "Ah, your missus has been talking to a black man all morning." Yeah, I said, "Sod off you." Andrew Cathcart, canny setup to be fair, nice one. I like it, mate. I like it. Sort of got everything I want in here. Oh, I'll tell you another thing I did as well. Just whilst we're talking about me little den. Right. I wanted the internet in here, obviously, so I can talk to you guys and what have you. But I wanted it for me PS5, even though I never get a chance to play on that anymore. And all the kids and the missus call me a nerd for having a computer anyway. But anyway, I wanted the internet, and I was struggling getting Wi-Fi. I got Wi-Fi until I put all the Kingspan in. As soon as I Kingspanned all the walls and the ceilings behind all this timber, I put 70 mil Kingspan in. I couldn't get Wi-Fi. The house Wi-Fi, I couldn't get it in here anymore. It's like there was no signal, there was no phone signal, there was nothing. So what I did was I ran a Ethernet or Ethernet cable, I don't know how you pronounce it. I ran one of those out the front of my house, over the roof, down outside and into here. And I've got a little Wi-Fi router in here as well. So because my internet's hardwired in here, it actually takes they don't know. It actually takes priority over the house. So you know when you're watching like Netflix and the little wheel starts spinning, it's loading. That's usually because I'm uploading a video in here, but they don't know it's me that causes it. So we won't tell them anyway. uh, right, wait there. Graham Barker, no black or white here. Yeah, I'm the same, mate. I'm the same. Um, Andrew Cathcart, have you tried that beer 52 beer delivery thing? You can try a bunch of different beers and stuff with it. It's not too bad. I haven't, to be honest with you, mate. I like the surprises. My missus gets me as well, so I just leave her to it. She sort of it's her little task for me every day to go and get me a different beer. I'll tell you the funny thing, actually. Not every day. When she goes shopping, she usually goes about 2 or 3 times a week and does a little shop and gets me a few more beers. But she every morning, I wake up, give my missus a little tap on the backside. I'm like, right, go and do me flasks for me, babe. And she'll go down. She'll do me like a flask of coffee and a flask of soup or stew. I've got like a food flask as well. Anyway, it was only 2 weeks ago. I was doing a Sunday job. So go and do me flask for me, love. And she went, sod off. I don't work the weekends. Work. All she's doing is making me a flask. I don't work the weekends. Oh, right, okay. I'll make my own flask then. CJ Fighter, that job you did for that old lady and charge her nothing respect from me, mate. Thank you, mate. Yeah. Cheers, pal. Um, do you know what? Look, I'll be straight with you guys. I'm not one to sort of like show off and stuff. I know I made a video about it, so I don't want to sound like a hypocrite. But ultimately, I love doing little things to help people, especially women and children, old people, and single mums and what have you. If it can help people out, I love doing it. But I don't want you to be deceived. I'm probably not the cheapest plasterer in the world. In fact, I know I'm not. I'm probably one of the most expensive plasterers in my area. But because I sort of charge people a decent rate, it means that every now and then I can do cheaper or jobs for free for people because I've sort of, I've made decent money for the week, so I can do it a day or half a day for nothing. It's not about just going around doing absolutely everything as cheap and as free as possible because I've got my own family to look after. But that said, when the opportunity arises and you can do something for someone, it is quite a pleasure. Gives you a bit of satisfaction doing it, doesn't it? So, and she was made up as well. She was yeah. Anyway, Jamie Marshall, have a good night. God bless everyone. Muhammad Ali, just watched what you did for that old day. You're a good man. Cheers, mate. We just thought about that then as well. Um, uh, L Glutamine. Hi, Kirk. I salute you from Holland. I like the channel's vibe. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. Uh, Steve Soapy. I don't know what Steve's saying. His messages are getting retracted. Maybe he's saying naughty stuff. By the way, YouTube reads everything you guys write. So if you put profanity in your comments, it's not me. I don't really care what you say, but YouTube filters them out. So just so you know, if you're going to write something, try not to put a swear word in there, and then I'll be able to see it. Gary P, would you ever have her get you the Nitro Surge with the Nitro Surge cans spouse to taste like it was from the pub? NitroSurge, is that one of those, beer pumps? 'Cause my mate's got I think it's called a Blade, if that's the right thing, which is quite nice, to be fair. Uh, so CJ Fighter, yeah, that's understandable. It was a good gesture on your part. Uh, you can't do all the time, but nice to see if you can. Do you know, look, I'll tell you another thing as well. Since that video where I helped that old girl out, that video literally got thousands of views, which means at the end of this month, YouTube for the ad revenue, because YouTube put adverts on my videos, I'm gonna get a little chunk of change from YouTube for that video. So it's almost like I did it for nothing for her, but YouTube's paid me instead, and probably a lot more than what I would have ever imagined charging her just for the amount of views it got. So what I would like to do, I mean, I don't know how I'd go about it, but if I did future videos that I knew would get that amount of views for helping people out, I'd just do it all the time. It flipping pays better. It pays better. It gives me a better feeling, and ultimately YouTube pays instead. How would figure out how to do that? Because the other thing is as well, I wouldn't want to cause any embarrassment to anybody. That's why, you can't start putting a camera on your customers and filming them. It's just a bad taste, and I wouldn't want to take away someone's dignity. So, but I would like to do more stuff and help people out. But the problem I've got is, how do you help people out and do these kind sort of deeds and make content so that I get paid from YouTube instead without taking away their dignity? It's sort of like a fine sort of balance that I've got to try and find, I suppose, if I was to go down that route. But it's something that I'll potentially like to do more of, just for the nice sort of feeling of helping people. But we'll see. We'll see how things pan out. Um, uh, where are we up to? Steve Soapy, hi Kirk, great channel. There we go, Steve. I've got one of your messages here now. Steve Soapy, hi Kirk, great channel. I'm skimming my Artex sealant and using SPR, but I can't start skimming until 48 hours after applying the SPR. Will this be a problem? I mean, leaving the SPR for so long. No, it'll be fine, Steve. You'll be fine, mate. Don't worry about it. L-glutamine. Did you ever try the plaster machines? They mix and blast the plaster out. Good for lots of meters. No, I've never done machine plastering, mate. I've been with lads. I've been on jobs where the machine's getting used, and I've mucked in, but I've never bought my own machine and done it myself, mate. So, um, no. What's this here now? Gary P. I can email you a link to it, mate. You put on top of the cans, and it's supposed to be a miles nicer than just from the regular cans. It's worth a try. Oh, okay, yeah, for the beer, yeah. To be honest with you, mate, do you know what? Do you know the truth? I don't even taste it. It just sort of like just goes down the hatch. But yeah, I mean, I'll give it a whirl, mate. Do you know what? We like to have a few barbecues and that, with friends and family over in when it's warmer. So it'd be maybe worth a try to give the father-in-law a bit, because he's a bit of a beer connoisseur. He turns his nose up at anything else apart from Peroni. That's the only thing he'll drink. Andrew Cathcart, what job would you do again? And if you had another go round, would you stick to plastering or another trade or something completely different? I don't know, I wouldn't mind getting into, like, tell you something I wish I had done when I had the opportunity was move to Australia. And I love watching like Australian mining. I don't know if I'd want to do it as a job, but I'd like to go and work on one of those open pits, in Australia. Some of the heavy machinery. I'd love to just have a little whirl at that, maybe for a month or two. But otherwise, I'm quite happy plastering, to be honest with you. So I probably sound like a big kid, don't I? Just want to go and drive some big trucks and big diggers and stuff. But I genuinely would. I'd enjoy it. I don't know. after it wears off if I'd hate the job or not, but I would like to go and give it a whirl. Almond, do you think that plastering will ever not exist due to the advance in building techniques, Kirk? Not in my lifetime. I don't think in my lifetime it'll ever cease to exist. People sort of want things to look nice and fancy inside. Plastering's more decorative, isn't it, than anything else? And if one thing we should realise is that people want stuff fancy all the time. I mean, as long as as long as people are having fancy kitchens and fancy bathrooms, right, there's always going to be plastering, isn't there? As soon as we go to that sort of ultra modern, sort of contemporary look, they sort of tried it in Switzerland where it was just concrete houses, very basic and bare and bland, and I don't know. As long as there's sort of fancy stuff getting sold, like Howden's kitchens and stuff, there's always going to be work for plasterers, um, in my opinion. Damo Blake, once a week, once a month. I'm assuming you're talking about doing a freebie for someone, mate. Yeah, I don't know. Do you know what, mate? I just do it when the opportunity arises and I'm sort of in a situation where I can help. Then I do it. Then I try and do as many good deeds as I can without sort of compromising. For a family, haven't I? So I can't you can't go out and save everybody else at the cost of your own family. So you just got to do what you can, haven't you? Need some kit to get rid of that cold. You're right. To be fair, it's flipping. So maybe half an hour. You boys keep talking. I was meant to be on for half an hour. It's been about flipping. What's it been now? An hour and a half instead. Hmm. Andrew Cathcart. There are channels where they do that. Go around doing charity good stuff for clout, recording it, and then getting loads of reviews. Yeah, Black Lines, SB Moen does that. Cleans people's gardens up once a week for now. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something I'd like to explore. Um, I don't know how to go about finding the plastering jobs though. You could blur them out. Yeah, I could do. I wouldn't like to sort of make someone feel on edge by having a camera on them though, in all honesty. I don't know. I don't know. Remember, the focus of each channel was to sort of just for me son, to show him stuff, and I wanted him to see firsthand, ultimately, that it's good to be a good person and to help your elders, and especially especially women and single mums and that sort of thing. People that are less sort of they haven't got. How do you say this without sounding offensive? When there's a man in the house, we all expect the man to sort of go and get the money. So when you sort of come across a little old dear by herself, or a young lady that's maybe got a couple of kiddies and no sort of man to look after them, if you can look after those sort of people, then I think as a man, that's what you should be able to do. That's what a bloke should do. I think to myself, if you can't provide and protect, then what sort of a man are you? So my personal opinion. Uh, V for Victory 2025. You didn't do it for the extra YouTube funding. You did it because you got a heart of gold, mate. To be honest with you, you're spot on. But the YouTube funding, the YouTube money just come in. I actually, do you know the mad thing? That video, if you look on it, it's probably the worst edited video I've done in ages. I literally just fired it together quick and just popped it out there because I thought, just something I wanted to have on my channel to sort of so that the lad can see when he's older. Oh, my dad did do good deeds for people. So I really didn't even edit it, and I didn't even really give it a second thought, and then it just sort of took off, which was a bit bizarre. It sort of made me wish I'd done a better job of the editing, to be honest with you, because I thought loads of people are going to see it and think, "Oh, look at that! He doesn't put much effort into his videos, does he?" But anyway, right, lads, I'm going to drink the rest of this can and call it a night, I think, because it's nearly midnight and I've got to can't even breathe. Jamie Wotton, hey up, new to the channel, watching from Sheffield. Nice to have you, Jamie. Cheers, mate. John Mellor, how would you go about non-payment for a job? Did a job on Saturday and still not been paid, even though they have promised every day since I will be paid. Uh, I'll just go back around and see them, mate. I tell you a little trick as well, boys. Something that I learned years ago. When you price a job up, when you go and give the quote, and you stood in front of the customer and you told them the price, what I always do is say to them, okay, we'll book you in for Wednesday the 20th or whatever. We'll be done on that day. So will you be able to pay us that day, save us having to come back and forth, or will you be able to transfer us the money that day? Once they say yes to that, then you're sort of guaranteed you're going to get paid on time, aren't you? If you sort of, look, I've seen loads of fellas do jobs and they finish the job and then they're sort of like hanging around, like, can we ask for the money or what do we do? That's a bit of an awkward situation. And then the customer says, "Oh yeah, thanks for all that. I'll send you the money over." And you say, "Okay, yeah, away you go." And then when? Tomorrow? Tonight? Next week? When do you get the money? So what I always do is price the job up, and I just say to them, "Great, how are you planning on paying me?" Because I don't mind. Cash is fine, bank transfer is fine, but I don't take check. That's the only thing. So I'm asking. I just let them know I just don't take checks. Only because I can't be bothered going down the bank, and then I've had checks bounce in the past, and they get charged, and you have to go back to that. That's just a palaver. So it's just easier to say, look, cash or bank transfer, and then whichever they say, I say, okay, that's fine. We'll be done on the Wednesday, or we'll be done on the Thursday. Can you have the money ready for us then, or are you okay to transfer it that day? Are you? Once they've agreed to it, it's like it takes all that weirdness at the end of the job out of the equation. You finish the job, and it's sort of already been agreed that you're going to get paid straight away for just saying a quick sentence at the end when you've quoted the job. It just takes all that hassle away for the future. So that'll be my advice to you. Just do that from now on. Um, Andrew Cathcart, but if you do it and it takes off, your son can watch the videos in a Ferrari. the, the lad will not be getting spoiled, mate. Don't you worry about that. the, the thing what I've got to do with my lad is he's got to learn the hard way, like me, that he has to make his own money. So I don't mind spoiling my daughters a little bit, but when it comes to the lad, he's got to learn, son, you are going to be the head of a family, and the family are going to be looking to you to look after them. So you've got to learn to go out there and earn your crust yourself. So he won't be getting any Ferraris off me, mate. uh, Evening Mucker, Steve Gordon. Evening Mucker, just a quick all the very best of 2024. Have a fantastic Christmas with the family. Cheers, Steve. Gentlemen, thank you, mate. Uh, Graham Barker, have a good night. When's the next live chat? Okay. I thought I'd drop on tonight. I'm probably usually do Sundays. I usually try and do a live every Sunday at 8 o'clock. But this Sunday, I've got to work Saturday and Sunday. So I've promised my missus I'm going to take her out. I'm going to have a nice meal. I'm going to turn my phone off because all I do all the time is sort of reply to comments and jobs and all. My phone literally is on fire most of the time with jobs coming in and with YouTube comments and TikTok comments, and it's just chaos. So I promised my missus on Sunday the phone's getting turned off. My eldest daughter's looking after the baby for us, and me and her are going to go out for a nice Chinese. We're just going to relax. So there won't be a live this Sunday. That's why I thought I'd just drop on now. But probably the Sunday after at 8 o'clock. Uh, uh, John Mellor. Conveniently, he was there all day with me, and this is the fellow that hasn't paid him. Went to the shop and never came back. Um, was at his offices, and all the lads were working in there, so didn't want to cause a scene. Yeah, mate, I've been there in the past. I know all about it. I tell you another little trick I always used to do was just keep the key. You know, when they say to you, "Oh, just post the key at the end when you're finished." Just, oh, I forgot. I forgot. Oh, I'll bring the key back to you when I come and pick the money up off you. That's just another thing you can do, isn't it? I know it sounds sneaky, but I mean, who's more sneaky? The ones that aren't paying you. So if you just actually forget to give them the key back, then you're sort of guaranteed you're going to get your money, aren't you? Lewis Edwards put 60 angle beads on the other day, and the other guy I worked with said, "I thought you would have the other ones done. I saw the beads in my sleep." Yeah, fair dues. Andrew Cathcart, take the family to Diggerland to live out your Australian fantasy, lad. I don't even know what Diggerland is, but I like the sound of it. I'm going to have a look at that now. Right, gents. Graham Barker, take it easy, mate. Gentlemen, I'm sorry if I missed your comments because when that many comments come in, they just sort of zoom up my screen that quick and I can't see them all. So please don't think I've ignored any one of you. It's been a pleasure. It's been emotional. Apparently, there's adverts going to come up in 10 seconds. So say ta before then so you don't have to watch them. Boys, cheers. Ciao. David Zenya. Adios.